This video will cover two entities, T large granular lymphocytic leukemia and NK large granular lymphocytic leukemia, which is also known as chronic lymphoproliferative disorder of NK cells. So, since there are two entities, the first one is on the left side of the image and the second is on the right. On the left side here, you'll notice our famous taco cell restaurant, which, as we know from previous videos, represents T cells since taco cell and T cell sound similar. But there's an additional detail here. You can see that this location is decorated with all these sprinkles. The sprinkles will help us remember granular, since sprinkles basically make things granular. And the fact that there are some really giant sprinkles will help us remember that this refers to T large granular lymphocytic leukemia. Okay, now notice the right side, one of the most classic Halloween movie characters who, let's be honest, is a true natural killer. This character will represent natural killer cells for us. And since he also has some sprinkles on him, we'll remember NK large granular lymphocytic leukemia. The large portion can even be remembered by the fact that if you remember, of course, this guy is pretty huge from the movies. Now that we've anchored ourselves, let's begin talking about T large granular lymphocytic leukemia. This neoplasm is defined by an increase in LGLs for over 6 months with no identifiable cause. This is a good one. Look at the window here displaying the price increases for the past 6 months. I guess they're doing some reverse marketing here, but from this we'll remember the increase in LGLs for over 6 months with no identifiable cause. This neoplasm is associated with neutropenia, which is why there's a little newt here on the ground taking a nice nap. Newt helps us remember neutrophils since they sound alike, and since the newt is on the ground sleeping, we'll remember neutropenia. About 30% of cases carry a STAT3 mutation. This is a double whammy because we'll just remember it with this graph here since graphs display stats, right? And statisticians love graphs. CD3 is expected to be positive, which is why there's a tree with some CDs as decorations on it. The tree represents the number 3 since they sound similar. CD57 is also expected to be positive. This frisbee here with a halo on it represents 57 since frisbee sounds like 50 and halos are associated with heaven, and the word heaven sounds like the number 7. The T cell receptor in this neoplasm is of the alpha-beta type. As in other videos, T cell receptor is represented by a kiosk, since kiosks are essentially receptors, aren't they? And this kiosk in specific is displaying the words alpha and beta to help us remember this. Alright, that's all, and now we can move on to NK large granular lymphocytic leukemia, which is, again, also known as chronic lymphoproliferative disorder of NK cells. Oh, I see what's going on. Michael Myers is absolutely enraged at these price increases at his favorite fast food. That's why he decided to make an appearance. He even brought his tablet showing the price increases. Remember the good old days when you could get enough food to be full for less than $5? Anyways, back to the point of this video. So you guessed it, this neoplasm is defined by an increase in NK cells for over 6 months and is also associated with STAT3 mutations in about 30% of cases. So he's also got a frisbee with him, but this is an interesting one because it's made of sticks. So you're right, this represents CD56 positivity because the frisbee reminds us of 50 since they sound similar, and the fact that it's made of sticks reminds us of the number 6 since they again sound similar. One of the important things to remember is that this neoplasm is expected to be CD3 negative, and we'll just use the fact that there are no trees next to him to remember this. The only tree in this image is on the left side and has nothing to do with him or this neoplasm.